One reason why the NBA All-Star Game is nostalgic and kind of a sweet feeling for me is because I had I won't ever get into it on this show, because one, no one cares, and two, everyone has their own cross that they're bearing every single day. So I'm not anything special. But the NBA All-Star Game, my childhood was... Oh, sorry. I just seen this in the chat. Ivan, thank you. Happy Monday, 199 super chat. I appreciate you. I will never forget to read those and tell people it is a happy Monday. But anyway, sorry. Jump into it here. The NBA All-Star Game is pretty special to me. I love the All-Star Game. And, again, I'll never get into this, but my childhood was fairly turbulent at times. It wasn't exactly the easiest thing to get a hold of. And that's one of the reasons why I actually can't stand my birthday in a lot of ways. I'm not a huge fan of it. But either way, I have always loved watching it because my birthday always fell on the NBA All-Star weekend. And it was fun for me. I had something to watch every single time. It was the skills competition or the three-point competition or the dunk competition. One of my best childhood memories as a kid, and there's not a ton of them, is the 2005 Denver All-Star Weekend, where the Phoenix Suns are winning the three-point shootout. Quentin Richardson and Nash is winning the skills competition, and Amari Stoudemire comes in second in the slam dunk competition, and Nash was starting in that All-Star game. Like, it all just meant more, and it was fun for me. It's nostalgic. I was telling Brendan last night on the Locked On Phoenix Suns podcast that it was great. I used to go out on my birthday with my family every so often, go out to a dinner, and the game would be on too. Like, it'd be fun. I really enjoyed that little secret tradition I had. And so growing up, I still don't miss the All-Star Game. I watch it every year. It's a little nostalgic for me, whether it's the skills competition, dunk, three-point, whatever it is. All-Star Game as a whole, I really enjoy it. It's fun for me. It's a good time. But recently, it just feels like the players in the NBA are taking us fans for granted. And this is the show you do post All-Star break, kind of All-Star break, because there's still a couple of days left during the NBA season, because there's no NFL. The NBA didn't play any meaningful games, so everyone's going to be doing this topic on Get Up, on Fox, everyone. And for me, it's just interesting because I feel like I have a really good opinion on this topic. Don't take me for granted. Just don't, because I will go find uses for my time elsewhere. And it didn't just make me think about the NBA All-Star Game as a whole and all these different things going on with the All-Star Game as a whole. It's just frustrating to have to watch guys like Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama not take the skills competition seriously. And I have seen some people say, I have seen some people say at times, well, the NBA All-Star Game, okay, that's fine. Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul were just taking it potentially even more seriously than they should have. No one ever got into the Hall of Fame because they won a skills competition. No one there paid money because they wanted to watch you cheat the system of the skills competition. It's just lame. It's just boring. It's not fun to watch. It's not appealing to the beholden person having a perspective on this. That was lame. LeBron James playing in or being a late scratch because of ankle soreness, and Anthony Edwards being a late scratch because of groin soreness, that's fine. You can't play. Give it to someone else, because all you did was just get me pissed off. And you'd still get an all-star selection. I'm sure they'd still let LeBron sit on the bench. But what's frustrating is for guys like me, who were kind of hoping Devin Booker would get in, even though you can argue very easily he just didn't deserve it. He just didn't deserve it compared to all the other guys on there. It would have been fun for me to be able to watch Booker in that game and Kevin Durant and just give me more things to watch at a certain time. So, just taking fans for granted. And what's even more frustrating is I am not a hockey guy at all. I don't watch any hockey. I have no interest in hockey until this weekend showed up. And I think it's because hockey players don't get paid as much. They're looked down upon because the NBA is so much bigger. The MLB is so much bigger. But this weekend, watching a little bit, I didn't watch a ton, a brief amount of the four nations, and USA and Canada are going at it in an exhibition game that doesn't matter for anything but pride. And because they're wearing a country across their chest, they're willing to fight and get hurt in the first minute. That's how much it matters to them. And it's frustrating when you watch the NHL playing in a game that doesn't matter. They're not winning a medal in the Olympics. It just gets really old after a while. And they go in there, and Connor McDavid, after losing to USA, says the next game feels like a Game 7. An exhibition game feels like a Game 7. And, I've seen the argument of like, well, listen, the game doesn't matter. They don't make that much more money for winning in the All-Star game. Whatever, all these different things. I shouldn't have to bribe you to play well in an All-Star game. How about just play well because I'm a fan of the games? And this is just where the NBA becomes a little fundamentally broken. It's all about me, 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 me. And it's just, Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron, they should all be somewhat ashamed. Those guys are the three horsemen of this league. And I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. In fact, I'd be more willing to say that the All-Star game's cooked. Because it's frustrating when Victor Wembanyama, who's out there actually trying to play and get teams excited to play, and he's getting frustrated because Şengün is letting a guy slip behind him backdoor for the game-winning bucket. And so if you're Wembanyama, you're just like, well, then why am I here playing? Like, why do I care? And I turned on that game last night, and dudes are just running past each other on defense. Just an incredibly boring game to watch. Very boring. And for years, it was 200 to 200 scores. It's fundamentally broken. And it leads me to think of this. I wonder how much the NBA is prepared for a LeBron James-less and Kevin Durant-less and Steph Curry-less NBA. I see Ivan in the chat. I think a USA versus World with each player wearing where they're from across the front. Yeah, it's great. The only problem is try to find a team that you can compose of 12 world players. It's just too hard. And the USA side, it's not super easy either. So a Team World versus Team USA would just be kind of hard to do. But either way, I have become really concerned with the NBA and its longevity in the future. I worry about a league without LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. We still continue to put these players in the biggest spots, in the biggest position, in the biggest moments during the season. I think the NBA does a horrific job catering to their new stars. Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards. I think they're still guinea pigging off the back of the greatness of these three players. And part of this All-Star game is an ability to market those young players. And I have LeBron James sitting out and Kevin Durant playing like 6 minutes in the final game because they're tired or they have soreness. Then don't play. Give your position up for someone else because you shouldn't be able to have it both ways. And it just leads me to think, I worry sometimes about the NBA. I don't think they have the next face of the NBA right now. I think it's just LeBron. LeBron James is the face of the NBA. Steph Curry, probably number 2. Kevin Durant, probably 3 or 4. Probably 3, though. All those guys are going to be gone soon. And once LeBron James leaves, who takes the throne of the face of the NBA? Is it Anthony Edwards? He doesn't have any rings. Is it Victor Wembanyama? Maybe, but he's not American, and it's hard for some reason for NBA fans to get their arms around those guys. I don't think he has a very big personality. He doesn't play at all like a traditional big man. Is it Luka? Well, I don't know. He's a Laker. That could cause some issues for concern because people don't love the Lakers. He kind of complains a lot. He's not physical. Is it Anthony Edwards? I don't know. No real championship success. I just wonder, with this next era of the NBA, how well the NBA is going to do. So, if you wanted my thoughts on that, that's what it is. I think you combined a all-star game that was lackluster and not fun to watch once again, where I don't blame people for not watching, and a league that is soon shifting towards a LeBron, Steph, and Kevin Durant-less NBA. I wonder about its longevity. I don't think the NBA is going to go belly up, but the NBA lost a third of its viewership when Michael Jordan retired. Is it possible that in some way it kind of just blows up in their faces because they didn't take enough time to cater to those stars, the new up-and-coming stars? Really makes you think. I don't think anyone is ready to take the baton when LeBron James leaves. Because at that point, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry will be very old. And they're almost out the door too. And I think the NBA has done a horrible job. And you look at this All-Star game as an example of marketing their new stars. Who's the face of the NBA when LeBron James is gone? And that's a big deal. Every league needs the face of something. NFL, Patrick Mahomes. MLB, Shohei Ohtani. NBA, when LeBron James retires, who is it? Who is it? And when I see LeBron sitting out of all-star games and not allowing someone else to go and give the NBA a chance to market their stars, Anthony Edwards as well, it's not likable. Victor Wembanyama, I don't think can be that guy. He doesn't have the personality for it. For some reason, NBA fans don't cling to their USA basketball players or players that are international and not USA basketball players. They don't cling to those guys as well. I don't agree with it, but they don't. Luka Doncic as well. A player that doesn't necessarily take things seriously all the time, goes after refs. He's a Laker. He's not super physical. And Anthony Edwards talks about not wanting to miss games, will play if he's hurt, and then he's missing the All-Star game. And at times can be a little unlikable. I worry about the NBA once LeBron James retires, once Kevin Durant and Steph Curry are gone. There is no clear face of the NBA, and there is no clear direction of where this league is going to go. And I think just like how Michael Jordan, the NBA lost a third of its viewership was gone when Michael Jordan retired. I think when LeBron James retires, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, there's a chance that there could be a similar decrease in ratings. Because people still watch because of those players. So, I would say it's very worrisome, at least a little bit, for the NBA's future. It's a bit murky, and I think they need to do a much better job on figuring out who that guy is going to be to carry the torch and carry the mantle on their way to a next decade and a half of relevancy. Because LeBron, Steph, and KD, they've been here for 15 plus years, and they're not going to be here much longer.